Are precious metals such as gold and silver still a good investment considering everything that's going digital with CBDCs and other forms of online currencies? Hello future investors and welcome back to another weekly episode. Today I want to talk about precious metals, more specifically gold and silver bullion, and is it still a good investment? Is it a good investment for new stackers and people starting out in investing, and will it continue to be a good investment considering everything is going in a digital format? We've got all of the talk about CBDCs, the banking issues, Bitcoins, cryptocurrencies. There is a big push right now on everything to go digital when it comes to finances and that sort of fiat currency. So what does that mean for precious metals, tangible gold and silver bullion? Well, here I've got some of my gold and silver bullion. I've got a fair amount out in front of you today so we can have a good chat and a good look at some of these precious metals and talk about the future of gold and silver bullion. Now, let's start off by talking about silver, shall we? I've got a decent silver stack, definitely not as much as most people, but I am a big fan of silver. Now, I do think there is some huge upside potentials for silver, and me as an investor, everybody has their own opinions and desires. And look, I'm no financial advisor. I'm just a guy who loves talking about investing, and I like to think that I watch the market enough to at least have some form of opinion on the matter. Well, when it comes to silver, it's a lot more volatile than gold. It has increased over the last 20 years. It's had a good increase, to be fair, but it is a lot more volatile. When you look at the price increase and decreases between silver, it looks a lot more sort of up and down than gold. The jumps don't seem to be as big as gold, but as time goes on, we're starting to see slightly bigger increases in terms of the price of silver. Now, why is that? Well, it could be because everything's going forward as this sort of electric generation, isn't it? Everything's being pushed away from fossil fuels and oils and being pushed more into like the hydro and electric sort of era. Now, what comes with that is the usage of silver. Silver is an industrial metal. It is used far more than gold is. Gold is normally used as sort of a bullion or a jewelry, whereas silver is used far more in terms of industrial. Now, silver is an industrial metal mainly because it's one of the best conductors, if not the best conductor of electricity. Now, right now, it's still considered fairly cheap for the weight of a let's say an ounce of silver. But could it go up in the future? I personally, in my opinion, think yes. With everything going electric, you've got electric cars, solar panels, and all the other industrial uses that silver is used in. The demand for silver is getting more and more and more. Now, we know silver is a non-renewable resource. It is mined out of the earth, so it cannot be renewed, and it is being used more and more and more, so that can only therefore push the price up. So right now you're looking maybe for a 1 ounce silver Britannia like this, depending where you buy it from in the new market from a bullion dealer, probably around the £25 mark. However, in my opinion, I think this could be, dare I say, in 20 years from now, £50 an ounce. You know, it could be way more than that. It could be less. Who knows? You know, I'm not saying I know the market. No one knows the market. And most of all, I certainly don't. I'm no financial advisor. But I can only estimate where I think it will be. And I don't think silver is going down. That is for sure. I think it's only going up. Now, you could say, what if silver stops becoming an industrial metal, even though it's the best conductor of electricity? Let's say in a worst case scenario, a SHTF situation, silver is no longer an industrial metal. It still has huge capabilities in the jewelry sector and the medicine sector, because silver is used in a lot for medicine because it has benefits to helping with healing properties. So if you're looking at a worst case situation, if it completely got expanded and they said no more silver is to be used in the industrial sector, it still has a purpose in the market, and I think people would still desire it anyway, just for jewelry. And it's one of those things, isn't it? When something becomes rarer, normally it becomes desired and it pushes the prices up because it's harder to get hold of. So if you're thinking about investing in silver, I think it's a great investment. I think right now it's technically undervalued for the weight you can get. I think to be able to buy 1 ounce of silver bullion, especially a Britannia, which is capital gains tax exempt here in the UK, I think it's an absolute bargain. I should practice what I preach, because I should definitely be buying more. As I'm talking, I'm hyping myself up to buy more and more, but I honestly believe 100% what I'm saying. I think silver is a fantastic precious metal, and I don't think it's going anywhere in the near future. Now, when it comes to gold, there is quite a big difference between gold and silver. The price of gold is the first noticeable thing. It's extremely expensive. For a 1/4 ounce gold Britannia coin like this, you're looking at around £450 from some of the online bullion dealers. Now, that's a new price. You can get it cheaper second hand, but that's the average going price right now, or so, depending on the timing of the prices. But yeah, gold is very expensive, and to get big weights of gold, you're looking at spending a lot of money. Now, gold isn't really an industrial metal. I'm sure it does have some capabilities for industrial uses, but quite simply, it's far too expensive to even be considered to be used as an industrial metal. When you've got something like silver, which has much better properties, being one of the best conductors of electricity and being a hell of a lot cheaper, they would not look to use gold as an industrial metal. Gold is seen more as an investment, more of a jewelry, and more of a art piece, if you could consider that, whereas people look at silver as industrial. I think people look at gold as more so, dare I say, investment. Of course, we know they're both an investment, but you can kind of get where I'm going with that. But yeah, gold. It's been around for over 4,000 years. It's one of the most valuable assets you can invest your money in, and it's probably, if not the safest asset. When there's economic crisis and downturn, people turn to gold because it's a safe haven for protecting their wealth, and I don't think that's going anywhere in any time soon. Considering everything's going digital, I think people will be putting even more money into the asset such as gold bullion, because in uncertain times where people aren't really sure what the future's holding, people will turn to gold, in my opinion, to sort of protect their wealth against that economic uncertainty that's coming in the future. Now let's have a look at something slightly larger. Here I've got a 1 ounce King Charles III Britannia. Now, as we're looking at this lovely piece, one of my favourite pieces in my stack, as a matter of fact, let's talk about the way everything is going online and digital, and will that have an effect on precious metals? Will precious metals be seen as an old hat investment? Will there be new investments that come along? In my opinion, there will always be new investments that come along, but there are the fundamental investments that will always stay around. And really, the first two that come to mind is bullion investment, such as gold and silver, and property. Property as in houses. People need somewhere to live, and there will always be people to utilise that market to make an asset for themselves, to utilize their money and make it work for them, and then you can get that money that you've made and you can stick it into gold. So those two assets, houses and gold bullion, they really complement each other well. So although everything's going digital and the governments are definitely trying to get more control when it comes to currency, they're definitely trying to remove cash because it's untraceable, untrackable, I don't think anything will be happening with gold that needs to be worried about, because it is such an invested asset all over the world. I mean, when you just look at the country's reserves, you know, England, the Bank of London has an almighty amount of gold reserves. Countries use gold reserves to protect their GDP, but some of the biggest are places like America, China. So yeah, I don't think you need to worry with gold and silver. If anything, I think you should be buying gold and silver, because with everything that's going on, I think the prices are only going to increase. Just look at the last sort of 6 months to a year and how the prices have increased for gold and silver. But overall, yeah, we've got lots of things to look forward to and lots of things to be wary as well when it comes to CBDCs. But in all, I'm continuing to stack precious metals. I love gold and silver bullion, and I really enjoy stacking and making this content for you. So thank you very much for watching as always, and until next time, I'll see you in the next episode. And before we go, a big shout out to the channel member so far, the Stack Collector. Thank you for your support, and as always, I'll see you then. Bye bye, guys. To watch another episode on future investments, click the link now.